All right, so this part here is gonna be hard to see a little bit, but let's see if we can get it zoomed in. This part here is the friction feeder itself. So this is the friction feeder. This part here is the vacuum transport. This is where I think you guys are printing on the bike, is that correct? The labeling.
Okay.
What was that?
No, that's fine.
Are you guys printing or labeling on the bags?
Printing.
Okay. So that would go over this part, this transport part.
Okay. So we can adjust our printing in this pipes, fix it.
What's that?
We can attach, right, our printer in this.
Yes, you would attach that over the top of here.
Okay, so over the top. Okay.
And then on the very end, we just have a collection tray that after you print, it'll stack up in this tray. And you just pull the stacks out.
Okay. Okay.
So just before we start getting into a lot of it, I'm just gonna run a few through here so you can see how it all works. So that's the concept of it. So our machine will only let one piece out at a time. It'll come across vacuum transport. You guys will print on it, and then it ends up in the vacuum tray.
Okay.
All right, we'll start at the front here. This tray is adjustable in and out.
Okay.
You have knobs right here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a wider product, you can slide these out.
Okay.
So your product fits. Right here, you have a magnetic backstop. Real strong magnet on the bottom here. You click those down, move those in and out, depending on the size of your product for where it's going to stop.
Okay.
These springs right here,
Okay.
if you wanted it to come out and then deflect it down,
Okay.
depends on the speed you're running and the type of product if you need to knock it down. For this video, we're going to keep these up in the air. The product will just fall and drop right into here.
Okay.
On the back side, let's see. The back side of it, another magnetic backstop. Click that on. You can see
Yeah, to put it in place.
you can move this up and down as well.
Okay.
Basically, that's just there so the product can't bounce off here and bounce back underneath the transport.
Okay.
All right. On the vacuum transport, you have side guides, this side,
Mm-hmm.
this side. You have knobs in front and back. You can loosen these, and then move these in and out as well.
Okay.
And you won't move those for the size of your product.
Okay.
That just allows to make sure that the product coming out and it stays straight going across the belt for the printing.
Okay.
It just assists in case one comes out a little crooked, it'll make it come out straight so you don't get crooked print.
Underneath, right here underneath this, there's a shaft underneath here. There's two adjustments. They're gonna be real hard to see. So you can
Okay.
get on that underneath here.
Okay.
My finger wiggling.
Yes.
There's an adjustment right here. You loosen the screw,
Mm-hmm.
and you slide it back and forth. You can move this belt in and out. I'll adjust that for you so you can watch it move.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this one here. Good. Turn that on. Sorry. I don't know why I'm getting that feedback. I'm assuming you guys can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine.
These belts, a quick question.
Yeah.
These belts, we need to change,
You're kind of cutting out.
no?
No, you're cutting out. I couldn't hear your whole question. I only heard a couple words.
Oh, okay. These belts, we need to change every, I don't know, like maintenance, every year or every 2 years.
It all depends on if you guys keep them clean.
Okay.
We recommend isopropyl alcohol, a very little bit, and
Okay.
a cotton rag to wipe them off.
Okay.
Depends on how much print. If you guys miss a bunch of prints and you're printing on it and something snagged and cut it, you'd have to replace it. If you
Okay.
keep them clean, they should last at least a year.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn this machine on, and you're gonna be able to see this belt move in and out. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you move that belt out,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and you just slide it back.
Okay. So we need to turn on to move it, right?
Yes. So underneath there's a guide.
Okay.
Okay.
See this little piece right down here?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
There's a little roller, and there's one on each side of the belt. So when I move it this way, it captures that belt and pulls it with it
Okay.
from the bottom side. It's a lot easier to do while it's running, so you just start moving it and that belt tracks and moves right along with it. When you're setting up the side guides in here, I'll zoom out a little bit. On the back of the machine, we have a jog button. So I'm just slowly advancing the bag. So it's on my belt here now,
Okay.
and I can set these side guides.
Okay.
Just like that. On the front here, there's a nip wheel, a spring-loaded wheel. What that does is when it's leaving our feeder, this wheel grabs the product onto the vacuum transport and helps pull it out onto the belts. This is a vacuum belt in the middle. You see all the holes that pulls vacuum down through those belts. For this video, we are not going to run the vacuum because it's really loud.
Okay.
If I turn this on, you guys will hear it real quick. You guys would not be able to hear us explain things if I left that vacuum running.
Uh-huh.
When you guys are running, you will have the vacuum on. One thing to keep an eye on and notice is if you get a lot of product stacked up on this belt and it's overlapped like this, it pulls so much vacuum down that you can lock that down and stall out the vacuum transport. On the side, there is a flow control or a valve to control how much vacuum you're pulling.
Okay.
You get down on the floor. Right here. You turn this valve open and close for how much vacuum you want to pull through that belt.
Okay.
This other black hose you see here, that is vacuum going up to the friction feeder. Our main feed belt pulls vacuum as well.
Okay.
Any questions on the adjustment on the transport itself?
We're good.
Okay. When you do get this vacuum hose right here will be disconnected. This slides in through the hole on the side of the machine. There's a hole right through here.
Okay.
So you slide that through, hook that up.
Okay.
On the front of the machine, we'll try to do some machine here now. The sheet sensor. This is what's seeing if there's a piece in here.
Mm-hmm.
See the eye?
Uh-huh.
That's reading the piece here. On the front of the separator, see that red light on right now? You can reset the machine from the front. If I hold this button next to it, it'll jog the machine. And then I can stop the machine as well.
Okay.
Another function that you guys have is on the side here. It's a pause, resume, or stop for the vacuum transport and the feeder.
If I turn this,
If I run a cycle, I'm going to hit go, and Jeremy over here can pause everything. So both of them stop at the same time.
as soon as I push the button again, it starts back up.
Okay.
And that is movable. You could remove this from the side of the machine and mount it on a table, put it wherever you guys would like it.
Okay. Just how many? Well, what is the voltage that we need?
What's that?
The voltage for the electric hookup.
It's a 110.
Okay, 110 and amperage.
Yeah, 110 volt, and there's 3 plugs.
3, what?
3 amperage.
No, 3 plugs.
Low amperage.
3
Our
plugs.
feeder,
Negativo,
the
positivo,
max
izquierda.
is 6 amps
6
6
amps.
amps.
Okay.
for that, and then this is probably around that 3 to 6 as well. So if you had a 15 amp circuit, you would be completely fine.
Okay.
Qué bueno que se entendió, ¿no?
Mhm.
Qué bueno que se entendió, ¿no?
All right,
Sí.
a couple adjustments that we can do in the front of the feeder. Zoom in on the hold down. So in here, you can see these stainless rollers right here. There's 4 of them that go in through the machine, 1 on each side. If I loosen the sheet sensor bracket,
Is this the ceiling area of the machine?
what's that?
The ceiling area? No? ¿Qué es nada más?
Nada más transporta la.
¿La bolsa?
Just the friction feeder, not a sealer, no.
Ah, sorry.
Yep. Down in front here, there's an Allen screw. If I tighten this,
Las va a ir aventando.
Un feeder.
if I tighten this, it'll raise those wheels up, and it creates no pressure.
Para imprimir.
Here.
Entonces primero vamos a imprimir.
If I
Sí.
loosen that down, now it's grabbed really tight.
Okay.
And there's also right back here, there's one right back here that adjusts the wheels in the back.
Okay.
You want those just barely starting to touch your product, and then
Okay.
out at the nose here, you want those to have a good positive drive, good traction on your product to help pull that out and pull it away.
Okay. So that one not to be too much tight, right? Just touch the
Yeah.
back.
You want this bag here snug. I mean, you want to be able to move it by hand, like you can pull it,
Yeah.
but you
Okay.
don't want it just free floating in there.
Okay.
You want a little bit of drag on that.
Okay.
Scroll up. On the separator here, this is where you're going to set to allow one piece of product to come through at a time. This knob right here, you raise and lower it, tighten it or loosen it, and there's a directional arrow on here.
Mhm.
If I loosen this assembly down here lowers, it goes down.
Okay.
What you're gonna do is take one piece of your product, there's blue rollers underneath here,
Mhm.
you gonna set your product underneath. So the blue rollers are just touching here.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna lower this until you start feeling a little bit of drag on the product. You don't want it tight so you can't move it, but once again, you don't want it just free floating in there.
Okay.
Just a little bit of drag. What you're trying to do is get a little bit of separation in between each piece. You don't want
Okay.
so you have your two pieces. What you want a gap in between them.
Okay.
If your pressure is not right, these will be overlapped coming through the machine.
Okay.
You guys are gonna want a little gap in between so then you can label each one
Okay.
or print.
So if we overlap the bags, we need to lose a little bit.
Say it again.
If we overlap back by bag, we need to lose a little bit, right?
I need a little
Right,
space.
you're a little too loose if you're overlapped.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And another thing to help get that separation, we'll show you next, is on the back side of the machine, there's a wedge that slides in and out. And what that does is it puts lift on the back side of your product.
Okay.
So then your blue belt, your feed belt is only touching here, not the whole piece.
Okay.
So then it slips by a little bit and pulls the one out.
Okay.
Try to spin it.
No, está muy grande la impresora para...
This is the rear wedge we're talking about.
En realidad lo que imprime es el cartuchito.
So there's adjustment knob on each side.
La otra sí.
Loosen those. They slide in and out. Here's your product, right?
Okay.
Without any lift on them, they're just laying flat.
Okay.
What you're trying to do is put some lift on the back of that product.
Okay.
Ah, ya. Está como que inclinado.
Chico, como que las voy a...
So you take your one piece, set that down underneath there, and you're gonna adjust that front knob until you feel that medium drag in the product.
Okay.
Then you can get half an inch of product. And you wanna fan it out. Can you see that angle?
Mm-hmm.
You can't stick them in square.
Okay.
Gonna fan them up. Set those in. Now the bags have a little bit of lift right here on the bags,
Okay.
riding on that wedge. The black side guides right here, same thing, there's a knob on the top. Press those in and out for the size of your product.
Okay.
You want to leave about an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch of a gap on the sides. So then this wiggles a little bit in between. If you're too tight, it'll pinch the product and it doesn't let it just fall down.
Okay.
So you gotta make sure your product can fall down through this right here.
Okay. And what is the maximum of the width?
The stack height maximum is depending on your product.
No,
You're gonna play with
no, but-
that. So
but
what'll
the-
happen is you'll put, the bags, you'll get 3 to 4 inches of bags in here. You'll get good separation, it'll be running great. What might happen is if somebody puts another 6 inches in, so now you got, say, 10 inches of product in here, you have no more separation. you'll see the separation just goes away. You cannot get a gap in between. Then you know your stack height is too tall.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
with the bags, they're so light, you should be okay. But it's gonna be dependent on the zipper on the bag.
Yeah.
Because
No,
it's
but
thicker in that one spot, so as you keep going, the product's so as you start coming down flat, as you keep going, the stack's gonna keep doing this as you
okay.
start filling it.
Yeah. But I say the maximum of the bag that we can run
These bags,
through the machine.
zipper side, how much thinner it is and how much taller it is. So what
Yeah.
happens is they just start standing up like this.
Okay.
But that's gonna be your guys' biggest stack height issue is how they load in the back of the feeder. That looks like a pretty thin. Does that even have a zipper on it?
Yeah, we have the zipper here.
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
And we are running it right now. The zipper is in the front,
Mhm.
and we're going that way.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could run this bag sideways as well.
Okay. That's
okay.
But then once again, this side starts raising up and stacking because of the zipper's thicker.
Okay.
Any questions on the wedge assembly and the adjustments back here?
I think that we're good.
These machines work only with empty bags, right? We can put bags with product inside.
Depends on what's in the bag. Is there just a piece of paper in that bag? Like if this bag, and you have this piece of paper inside of here, you could run that. If I took this bag and tried sticking this Allen wrench in here, that's probably not gonna run very good for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna wanna print on empty bags.
Uh-huh.
Entonces, ¿cuál es la idea? ¿Que ahora vamos a imprimir las bolsas?
Any questions on the rear side of the machine?
No, we're fine, thank you.
Okay. We're gonna turn this a little bit more. Here's the back controls of the feeder. Right now the screen is black. It goes into a sleep mode or a screensaver. All you do is touch it, and the screen comes back on.
Okay.
You guys have the Extreme XM1200C, which stands for continuous.
Okay.
So if I hit start, it's going to run until it runs out of product. It's going to just run until you guys don't have anything else in the back hopper. So I go to the home button. When you first turn it on, it comes up. This is Extreme XMC. In this corner I have run. This corner I have setup. We'll go to the setup screen here. What you have to change is a jogging speed. This blue button is jog.
Okay.
So if I hit this button now, it's running at 10% speed. I can change that to whatever you, up to 100%.
Okay.
Our speed is 0 to 100,
Mhm.
and it's all percentage. No, that was worse. So right now we're jogging at 10%. If I hit the next button, these are some of the options that you could have on this feeder. It's a double detect, would tell you if you had multiple products stacked on top of each other going through the machine. That is not on this machine right now. And then if you had a vacuum running through our I/O cable, you would turn the vacuum on here. You guys have a blower that's hooked to the vacuum transport. That has its own on-off switch on the power port.
Okay.
And then the ready busy output, you guys can leave that off because the only thing you're watching is the pause or zoom on the front. You can hit next. This is more of a maintenance kind of setup screen for maintenance to go in and diagnostics to look and see if things are working. I can view inputs. So right now, if I hit the stop button, my stop button went green. That means my button's working. It's getting signal to the PLC.
Okay.
If I hit the cycle button went green. I know my button here is working. And then there again, the sheet eye. Then you have remote trigger, different things that you can diagnose through that.
Okay.
You can force some the outputs. So inside of our separator where you can adjust for up and down for that pressure, there's a motor inside of there. There's a little motor right here.
Okay.
What it does is it turns your rollers so then you get even wear. You don't want to burn flat spots into those rollers, so we rotate that roller around and around. What you would be able to do is come here, turn that on, hit that button. Can you hear the motor running?
Yes.
So that would be to check and make sure that that motor is still spinning, if your maintenance wanted to know if it was working or not. Ethernet setup, and then different electrical things inside that you guys will not be using.
Okay.
And then you get right back to the jog speed. If I hit the run button, this is the run screen. This is what your feeder is running at, the cycle speed, how fast the product is coming out. Right now, for what you guys have seen, that's running at 10% speed.
Okay.
The F button's down here, F1 with cycle, F2 jogs, F3 resets, F4 stops. So you have these buttons down here, which do about the same thing as these buttons right here.
There is a manual that comes with this that'll explain all the different buttons in the screen also.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions on the feeder buttons and the setup of the machine?
No, thank you.
Okay.
There is a on-off switch here. So if you push this, the machine will shut off.
Uh-huh.
Turn it back the other way, it'll turn on. It takes 30 seconds or so for the PLC to boot up.
Okay.
When we
Turn it on, it takes a while.
when we stop the machine and turn on the next year, the next day work, the last work feed again.
Yeah, if they didn't change anything, you can just turn it on and hit that cycle button.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions that you can think of right now?
No, thank you.
We're good. No tiene contadora, ¿verdad? Contadorcita, no lo da. No es. No me acuerdo.
Well, we have another question. Does this machine count the pouches or the bags? No.
No, it does not. It is a continuous machine, so it just continues to run.
Okay.
Porque si sabes que quiero hacer 1000.
Sí, es lo que está para saber ya.
Sí.
No sé nada más. Pues habría que agarrar la caja tal cual.
On the
Ya,
vacuum
ya
transport,
empezamos a hacer, antes no lo llevamos, ahorita ya empezamos a hacer eso. Nada más que ahora que sí tenemos que hacer el récord porque lo guardamos en las
this
cajas.
is the controller for the vacuum transport, right here. Your
Okay.
speed adjustment
Ajá.
and on-off.
Okay.
So that's how fast the white vacuum belts run,
Okay.
depending on where you have that knob. And then in order for
This
in order for this button to turn it on and off, this here has to be turned on.
Okay.
Vacuum.
This
This is off, this button does nothing.
that set point of the vacuum. What set point do you recommend us
For what?
For the vacuum.
for the vacuum that you move in the little?
Yeah, to adjust the velocity. What's the
How to adjust it?
no. What's the velocity that you recommend us to
Yeah.
use?
On the blower, there really is no maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, for the vacuum blower, there is no maintenance on that.
Okay. Well, but the in the little black control, you move the vacuum, right?
No, that's just to turn the motor to make those belts spin.
Yes. Which set point do you recommend us there to put it?
How often the belts on here?
No. In the black box.
No, es perilla.
Sorry, the microphone keeps cutting out, so.
Miguel, es perilla. No, es que no sé cómo se pronuncia. KNOB. No, perilla,
Knob?
como una perillita, sí.
That you move the knob.
The knob, yes, that is adjusting the speed of the white belts.
Okay. And okay.
For a recommendation, I do not know your printer. Your printer is only going to be able to print so fast.
Okay.
So if you're
Yeah,
running too
it
fast,
depends on
you
the
have
printer.
really bad
Okay.
print.
Depends on the printer. We need to adjust this one. Okay.
Right, so if your printer, you can print at 100 feet a minute. I don't know what printer you have. You're going to want to get a belt, make sure that this is running slow enough that your
Yeah.
printer can still keep up.
Okay, great. Thank
And then
you.
the vacuum, here's your vacuum blower,
Uh-huh.
right? There's no maintenance on this.
Okay.
Still see me? The on off right here.
Okay.
When you guys get this system, the feeder will be in a box.
Uh-huh.
The vacuum transport's gonna be in a box. And then that stand that everything's mounted to will be in a box as well.
Okay, we will receive 3 boxes.
Yep, up front here. Show the pivot.
Uh-huh.
Scrolling. You can see where this all mounts right here.
Uh-huh.
It rests on the shoulder bolts here.
Uh-huh.
Then there's the one locking screw that locks this in. If I take the locking screw out, what I'm able to do